Sit down, Marcus. I don't raise my voice. I don't need to. The silence between us does the heavy lifting. Hubby hesitates for half a second. Just half. And that half second tells me everything about the past week. Not rebellion, not exactly, but something softer. Something more dangerous. Comfort. And comfort in a wife-led marriage can blur into carelessness if I don't correct it early. He sits. Good. But we're not done, and he knows it. Last Sunday, he interrupted me in front of our friends. Small moment, soft tone. But he corrected a detail in my story. Publicly. And then he laughed. Like it was harmless. Like it was casual. Like leadership is something you toggle on and off depending on the room. He apologized later. He's been perfect all week. Attentive, compliant, tone measured. Most people think leadership in marriage is loud. It isn't. It's subtle. It's who finishes the sentence. Who sets the tone in the room. Who decides when something needs to be addressed and when it doesn't. Last Sunday, Marcus forgot that. Not dramatically, not destructively. Just enough. And just enough is how cracks begin. But obedience for 7 days doesn't erase a fracture in structure. And tonight, I'm going to explain why. But before we go any further, if you're enjoying stories that explore female-led relationships, make sure you like the video and subscribe. I'm on a journey to reach 10,000 subscribers, and every like and every new subscriber helps keep these conversations going and this story unfolding. Because what happened with Marcus next changed the tone of our entire week. Now let's go back to the moment I asked him to sit down. What really happened? Last Sunday, we were at dinner with friends. The conversation was light. Vacations, work stress, harmless teasing. I told a story about how we decided to restructure our finances this year. He laughed, then said, "Well, that was mostly her idea." Mostly, The room chuckled. But what lingered wasn't the word. Marcus interrupted me in front of our friends and corrected a detail in my story. Publicly. And then he laughed. Like it was harmless, like it was casual, like leadership is something you toggle on and off depending on the room. He apologized later. He's been perfect all week. But obedience for 7 days doesn't erase a fracture in structure. And tonight, I'm going to explain why. It was the tone, the implication, as if leadership in our marriage is collaborative convenience instead of intentional design. The interruption wasn't the real issue. The real issue was what came before it. 3 weeks of subtle questioning of my decisions. Taking longer to respond when I gave direction. That tone, the one that says, "I'm considering whether I agree." Every time. He complied, but there was hesitation, subtle resistance wrapped in politeness. Marcus is not a man who resists loudly. He resists internally, which is more complicated. In a traditional dynamic, maybe that's normal. In ours, there needs to be a correction. We built this marriage intentionally. I lead. Marcus thrives inside structure. He told me that himself. So when Marcus starts testing the rules, I don't panic. I adjust my intention on details. Last Sunday was the moment I knew the correction couldn't wait. Because a shift is dangerous. I call Marcus for our weekly review of the week. "Marcus," I say softly, folding my hands in my lap. "You've done well this week." Marcus' shoulders relax. There it is. Relief. He lives for approval. That quiet craving for acknowledgement. Marcus thrives on approval when it comes from me. Marcus came home early. He deferred naturally in conversations. I let the silence stretch before I continue. But respect, letting the pause stretch just long enough to make him lean forward, isn't restored by one good week. Marcus' jaw tightens, not defiant, in a defensive tone.
I said I was sorry.
I know.
And I meant it.
I know. I let the silence linger again. Silence in a wife-led marriage is never empty. It's instructional. You interrupted me in front of our friends, and you've been questioning my direction quietly for weeks. That's not— I lift one finger. He stops mid-sentence. Good. That immediate stop tells me he still understands. In a female-led marriage, respect is not an occasional compliance. It's demonstrated through consistency. No apology. It is consistency. Marcus looks down, listening. Not in shame, but reflection. I don't need you to be perfect. Marcus, I need you aligned. He swallows, and now we're getting somewhere.
When you interrupted me,
it was the positioning. He looks up, processing what I just said. You positioned us as negotiable. His breath shifts. That lands. We are not negotiable. Our structure is not situational. Clear boundaries are what allow this marriage to thrive. The structure is not about control. He nods slowly, but I'm not finished. Last Sunday, you stepped outside the boundary. Just enough. Marcus' voice is quiet now. I didn't realize it would matter that much. It matters because you agreed that I lead. Leadership doesn't disappear in social settings. The silence is heavy, but necessary. I grounded you this week, I remind him. That wasn't meant to be harsh, but structured. Marcus nods again. It was meant to preserve our harmony. Marcus exhales. I know. Do you? Our eyes lock.
Yes.
That answer lands differently. Less ego, more surrender. Discipline is used when you need to be corrected. A female-led relationship marriage feels stabilizing. When he knows the lines, he relaxes. When the lines blur, Marcus challenges me. Not because he wants power, but because he wants reassurance that I'm still paying attention. And I am. Always. Marcus, do you value this structure? He nods.
I do.
He feels seen. He listens carefully now. It's a tool to reinforce structure, to restore balance. When he's centered like this, he's open, grounded, aligned. For now. You did well this week, Marcus. I acknowledge that. You showed up early every day. You checked in without prompting. You deferred in conversation.
But respect isn't a 7-day sprint. It's a lifestyle.
Marcus straightens slightly, inhales deeply.
I understand. You feel better when it's clear.
Marcus' voice is barely above a whisper. I just don't want to feel micromanaged, he says, very carefully. There's the resistance again. Predictable. The word Marcus uses when boundaries brush his ego. You're not micromanaged. You're guided. You agreed to these boundaries. He wants to argue, but he won't. He shifts. Processing. Structure only feels that way when you're pushing against it. Silence. That one lands. I'm not extending your grounding. Relief flickers across his face. But I am adjusting my expectations. You will have corner time so you can reflect on your choices, and you will practice active listening without interjecting. Marcus takes that in. And if you slip, then I will correct it immediately. And this time there's no resistance, just acceptance. When I tightened expectations this week, what did you feel? Marcus thinks carefully. Relieved. That answer was immediate, unfiltered, real. Why?
Because it was clear again.
the truth Marcus resist but crave. Marcus admits the structure feels stabilizing, knowing the lines, knowing the expectations, that I'm paying attention to him. The structure must be maintained. I stand. He remains seated. Respect. It's about honoring the structure. You didn't break anything. Marcus, you did nudge the frame. I will correct that. There's no resistance left, just clarity. Stand up, Marcus, and say it clearly.
I understand that respect in our marriage is consistent, not occasional, and I commit to maintaining alignment.
There it is. Full alignment. Marcus is still in position. I circle him slowly. Sit down, Marcus. His breath catches slightly, letting the tension hum just beneath the surface. We'll see if this was obedience and alignment. His eyes meet mine. I step closer, brush my fingers lightly along his shoulder. You feel steadier now, don't you? Yes. Good. Because next week, there won't be a review. No sit down. No warning. Just observation. Marcus doesn't know when I'll test it, and that's intentional. I walk toward the hallway, without turning around. Consistency, Marcus. Behind me, I hear his quiet response. Okay. But the question wasn't whether he'll say it. It's whether he'll live it.